Okay, hello, happy Sunday. This is your girl Thrifting Diva, and we are jumping right into talking about best sunscreens for black skin, especially if we're thinking anti-aging. So, in the comments, let me know if you are wearing sunscreen every day, especially if you're a person of color. Let me know also if you are wearing it every day. I have some sunscreen here to go over the ones that I am really loving, some that I have not liked that much. And all of these are affordable sunscreen. Um, all of these are affordable sunscreen that we can all enjoy. Find in local, your local places. There's one that you're going to have to order. But let's talk a little bit about sunscreen, especially when it comes to black skin, because I'm not gonna lie. I'm from the Caribbean in Trinidad, and I grew up not wearing sunscreen at all under that hot sun. Now the sun is beautiful, but what it probably did to my skin throughout those years is not beautiful. So I'm not, not happy about that. But it's never too late to kind of change those patterns because we all know as black folks, we've all heard the saying black don't crack. um, let's talk about that. Let's break that down a little bit. So we have the UV rays that our melanin skin indeed does have some protection on. Some. But let me tell you, especially if you're a person of color, that protection is not invincible protection. Okay. You can the sun can the UV rays can actually hurt your skin. Skin cancer is a thing, especially and for black people. But a lot of us just grew up learning to put on sunscreen if we went to the pool or the beach. So let me know in the comments if you definitely are one of those people who only wore it when you were in the on the beach or something like that. Hey, Thrifting Atlanta, thanks for joining, girl. She says, I put on sunscreen when I go outside. Now that I'm telling you, I'm just I'm afraid I'm not afraid, but I'm just so mad that I didn't know more about this. Um I did not know more about this when I was growing up and when I was getting, when we were learning about skincare and things of that nature. We just learned that maybe when you go to the beach or the pool, that you need to put on sunscreen. So, for those who wear it daily, thanks, Sharita. Thank you for jumping in. For those who are wearing it daily, kudos to you. So, let's just talk a little bit about some of the best sunscreens out there for dark skin. Now, a lot of the a lot of the research has shown that if you are wearing for dark skin, it's mineral sunscreen that is really going to be the one that they love. But I'm going to tell you now, and people have said the best sunscreen is the sunscreen you love and that you would wear daily. Okay. And I say daily, like I wear sunscreen today. It was overcast all day in San Diego. And I still, when I got dressed this morning, I put on sunscreen because I was sitting at the window throughout the entire day working on my computer. And yes, sun rays and can go through glass, and that's a big myth that people think that if I'm inside, I'm by the window and things of that nature, then the sun doesn't really get to me. But let me explain, it does. So if you're someone who works from home and you are by the window and you're not going outside, still put on some sunscreen. You may not have to reapply as often as if you were outside, but go ahead and put it on. And I would say that, going back to what I was saying before, the mineral sunscreen is exactly what you're looking for a person of color. But we'll talk about some non-mineral because I also use non-mineral. So the mineral sunscreen has the zinc oxide, and that's the thing I believe a lot of black people, or people of color, darker skin tones like myself, don't like wearing the sunscreen that's going to make them look like casket ready. That ashy white look that, nobody wants to look like that. I don't care where you are, who you are. Nobody wants to look like they're ready to walk into a casket. And so I'm telling you, there are sunscreens out there. Yes, they are far and few but in between, but there are definitely sunscreens out there that will not have you looking casket ready. Now, if you are going to if you're going to wear the mineral sunscreen, a tinted mineral sunscreen is going to help with that cast because it's the zinc oxide in the sunscreen is really what's giving you that white cast, and it's white, and you, no matter how you rub it in, it will not go away. So if you get a tinted one like this one is from MD Solar Sciences, and it's like a BB cream, but it's tinted so that when you put it on, and I'll do some testing here for you. When I'm on almost out of this bottle. When you put it on, that's what it's going to look like. And this one is a SPF 50 that I have. So do you see it has like a very, I won't say it covers at all because you see I have a burn mark here for years and it won't really cover that. But it's a nice little glow up, in the mornings. And so this is what I use. Oh, driving hand has sun damage on the back. It usually leaves dark spots from the sun getting through the window while driving. Exactly. Sharita, you hit it on the head. There's been studies where it shows like people who also, when they're driving, forget the hand alone, like their face, how it um, ages them if they have long commutes and there's the sun is coming through the windows on one side. And tons of studies that show this. As I said, it's not just for white people or people who have lighter or fairer skin. Black people also go through this. So in 2024, I want us to make sure that we are not continuing to move with the myth that we don't need sunscreen as Black people. Like, can we make that a thing? Can we make that a let's do this? So if you are really about that helping especially with dark spots, right? Like that is my biggest concern. Dark spots after years of pimples or sun damage. The mineral sunscreen is really going to be what you want to look for to assist with helping with your dark spots. Other thing, right? I don't want to get into the science and the geekiness about this because I will, and I love this kind of discussion. But if you are suffering from hyperpigmentation or dark spots and you are not wearing a sunscreen, you are probably making your dark spots worse. It's just a fact, right? So if you know that dark spots is one of your biggest complaints, things that you want to fix, then make sure you have a sunscreen in your skincare regimen. And as I said, your skincare regimen can be super simple, as in the morning being a cleanser, a moisturizer, a sunscreen. That's it. But if you're not wearing a sunscreen, and trying to address dark spots and hyperpigmentation, then you are starting at the back of the line and you will probably never reach where everybody else is. And then you're going to be wondering, like, I'm wasting money on all these other products, but the dark spots are not going away. So make sure that you have a sunscreen in your regimen, period. Okay. So, as I said, the mineral sunscreen, this one is from MD Solar Sciences, and this one is a tinted. The tinted is going to help with you not looking casket ready as a dark skinned person. They do have different shades. This is the dark shade that you saw me put on just now. And they have three shades, not the most, but they do have three shades in there. And that will help you definitely as if you have to wear this every day, that helps with not getting that white, the zinc oxide whiteness that comes through. All right, Thrifting Atlanta says, do you have to reapply during the day? Yes, you should be reapplying during the day if you're going outside. I work in a building where there are no windows, so I don't reapply because I'm not really going outside and doing anything. But in the summertime and in the springtime, if I'm going to go outside after work and stuff, I will absolutely reapply during the day. Technically, you're supposed to be reapplying every 2 hours, but it really depends on what you're doing, how much sun exposure, and things of that nature. Thanks for the questions. Let me know if you have any other questions as we do this. All right. So this is the mineral sunscreen, as I mentioned, and this one includes the fact that it has the zinc oxide. If you have dark spots or hyperpigmentation, you just want a clearer skin tone, then definitely try to lean towards a mineral sunscreen. But you don't have to, okay? As I said before, the best sunscreen is the sunscreen you're going to wear every day, not during your vacay on the islands, okay? All right. So here's another mineral sunscreen that, like, I absolutely love this sunscreen. Oh, price. This thing is not cheap. It's I would say it's not the cheapest, but it's also not the most expensive thing. I see sunscreen at some ridiculous prices, and I'm not sure why. But this one is about $39. However, comma, because your girl is always going to try to make sure you're saving your coins. They always have some sale going on. So when I stock up on these, normally they have like a 30% off, and I will stock up and get two or three bottle tubes to last me through the time I need. But they always have a sale. You can sign up on their website, MD Solar Sciences, and get this one. The one that I'm looking at is the SPF 50, and it is the dark. Okay. All right. Moving along. This one is also another in mineral sunscreen. It's Inzinkable by Dr. V. And so she has a line out in Europe, in London, I believe she is. And so you have to order it from her website. And this will cost you about $25. So here's the difference one in this one. She it's called invisible mineral broad spectrum SPF, because as we said, if it's going to be mineral, it's going to give you that zinc oxide, which is also going to give you that casket ready if it's not tinted. This is not tinted. So I'm going to show you what this one looks like. And so you rub that in like that, and it will disappear after a little bit. Now you're gonna have to rub it in a little bit, but it will disappear. And so that's why it's called the Invincible Mineral Sunscreen. And as I said, Dr. V, you have to get this one online. It's the broad spectrum SPF 50. Talking about broad spectrum, please, like, let's not do anything under 30. Let's not waste our time, our lives, our energy, and our money. Okay. So let's 30 and above. But this one is SPF 50. Okay. Um, and what I like about hers, really, I love. If you have dry skin, this thing is God. If you don't like having the dry skin, this is a very mattifying one. And so for people who have oily skin, this is one they really like because it's very mattifying. So you don't feel like you're spilling sunscreen throughout the day. This one is like a drink of water for my skin, especially because hello. There's no alcohol, no fragrance, and cruelty free. Okay. So helps with, and her thing says, helps with hyperpigmentation and aging. And that's because in it, she has some other ingredients that's going to help with clearing up dark spots. So, once again, science, research, doctors, dermatologists. If you have dark skin and you are fighting any type of hyperpigmentation, dark spots, age spots, sunspots, then you do want to make sure you're using a sunscreen. A mineral sunscreen is actually really good for us. But if you do not find anything that is going to, if you're not finding anything that's going to not leave that white cast, then let's talk chemical sunscreen. I I have dry skin, so and as I'm always reapplying. So, and honestly, for if you have dry skin and you're reapplying the sunscreen, great, no issues. If you're reapplying for moisturizer, then we may want to talk a little bit about getting something, because I have super dry skin, and until I crack the code, I do not have to reapply anything throughout the day except my sunscreen. This is what I love. Like, is like a this thing is my holy grail sunscreen. It is the Madagascar Centella. It is a Korean brand skincare. Holy cow. Let me tell you, it is I'm going to put it on the other hand so you can see. Now, this one is a chemical sunscreen, does not have the zinc oxide in it, so it will not leave a a white cast. Now, a lot of branding for chemical sunscreen will be like, oh, it won't leave a white cast. Well, it shouldn't, because you don't have zinc oxide in it. So if you're telling me it's not leaving a white cast, I mean, you're telling me the obvious, or it's a branding trick. But these are chemical sunscreens. Chemical sunscreens will not leave a white cast because there is no zinc oxide in it. So this is how this one goes on. If you can see right now, it is almost like a moisturizer. Like, look how dewy my skin looks there. This thing is like, ooh, butter. It is amazing on my skin. Love it, love it, love it. I put this on over my moisturizer because I still have dry skin. But if you did not have dry skin, I think you could get away with using, that as your moisturizer plus sunscreen because it is fantastic. I'll need coupon codes for your referrals. Thanks, Sharita. No, Sharita, I'm not playing. Like this thing here, this is like my 10th bottle. I go through this thing like I run through this thing. It's on Amazon. You can get it on some of the Korean websites as well. This thing, amazing. Coming in close second, like close second, as I said, this one is the Madagascar Centella. So if you want to screenshot that one with the blue bomb top, it is SPF 50 as well and plus plus plus. I got the four pluses. All those pluses just mean all the different rays and stuff it's supposed to be helping helping you with. Okay, but it's SPF 50, and then this one is a very close second. It is by the Beauty of Joseon. Um, I couldn't tell you what the name of this thing. It says the Relief Sun Rice and Probiotics. It's also another SPF 50, and it's a Korean brand as well. And so I'm gonna show you how this one. This one, close second. But I because one, also the other thing, no smell. Because let me tell you what we're not doing is wearing a sunscreen that look like we've, you know, got baked in a chemical factory throughout the day. Like we're not. But this is the Beauty of Joseon. And then right at the top was the Madagascar Centella. Lovely, all dewy. If you I love that dewy look that I look like I just came out of a rainforest and I'm just like not perspiring, not oily, just alive. And that's what these things are about. Like, ooh, come on, baby. Okay, now the next so any questions about the Korean sunscreen? Because Teresa says, love the Madagascar sunscreen because it doesn't clog my pores or no white residue. Hello, it's perfection. These things are like, first of all, these are like TikTok viral too, and I'm gonna give them. I'm not a big TikTok viral, like go out and get everything I see on TikTok, but this one, honey, you're gonna want to wear this. Like, when you wear something that you're like, okay, I gotta wear it, but now this is a sunscreen that I'm like, ooh, this is part of the regimen. Like I'm not leaving home without it. So I have one in my bag. I have one at home. I have one in my purse at work. I have in my car. Like I always have these around because, honey, it's on point. All right. So then there is this guy, and so this is a. I picked this up to test it the other day, and I was like, huh, this is a little interesting. So y'all could see it with me. Um, Userin, which is one of my favorite products, just because if you have dry skin, right? So it's just a very solid brand for people who are suffering with dry skin. Like you just know. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, let's see. And it was new. I was like, It says it has hyaluronic acid and humectant. So once again, for those who have dry skin, you know. The hyaluronic acid is something that allows you to attract the water and moisture to the skin so it could keep your skin moisturized. And a humectant is something very similar. So for people with dry skin, it is a plus on that point. Says it's lightweight sunscreen lotion, 50 SPF 50. Um, Fragrance free, which is great for me because I suffer with a bunch of things and I don't need anything to add to it. And no oxybenzone or and octinoxate. Um, so I got this, and I'll show you this thing. Um, it's a big tube, and what I end up doing is I use this for the body. These are used on the face because you see how small these bottles are? You can't be putting on a whole body or anything with this. So I use this on my face, use this on the body because when we are going to go out and we're not covered, especially in the summer. Now, this is when I say um, you put this on there to cover up in the summer. All right, so this is what this looks like. Now, I didn't like this as much on the face because, of course, you could still use it on the face. And I was like, it was giving. I just came out of the shower. It wasn't dewy. It was oil. It looked oily to me. I don't know if you can see that well. It is advanced hydration. So I get what they were going with this. Like Userin people are, they know their clients are the cracked skin, gotta get something on your face kind of thing, itching kind of thing. So that's what they were doing here. They did a little too much. But I'm not gonna waste my coins, so I end up putting it on my body. Now, if I'm at the pool or on the beach, I don't mind the white cast because then I'm telling everybody I care about my skin. Like I don't care. On my face, we're not doing that. We're not. So it's a huge bottle compared to, your my faves and stuff like that. So I end up using these on my body. The kids use this. This is like the family lotion. Okay. I had another one here that I completely forgot to bring upstairs. Because I have the kids, get the kids involved now, especially for our little black Nubian kings and queens in the making. Get your kids doing sunscreen as a part of their regimen now. So I'm all on top of them. They're annoyed with me half the time, but I'm like, my daughter's skin regimen in the morning is, you would cleanse, moisturize, and you put on a sunscreen. And the same for my son and the same for my husband. But they're not into all the fancy and the anything, right? And their skin is pretty normal, no dry skin, no oily skin. They're in their prime of skincare right now, right? So let's keep it like that. And so I get one from Trader Joe's, the Trader Joe's sunscreen. It's about $8 for a tube, about that big. And it goes on. It's not a mineral sunscreen, so it's not going to give them the white cast, but it goes on pretty invisible. It is a very close dupe to the Super Goop sunscreen, which is hella expensive, but they only hell of expensive right now. They need to just get into the practice of you have to wear a sunscreen. Like part of, you brush your teeth, you wear a sunscreen. Like it's supposed to become a part of, well, duh. So I don't want to hear anything from them when they're in their 20s and 30s talking about, oh, I wish I had known that I should be wearing sunscreen. Because at the end of the day, we talked about the hyperpigmentation, especially with people of color, but for everyone, sunscreen is your number one ingredient to holding off the aging process, looking like you. Now, I'm not saying we should not age. Hear me out, hear me straight, hear me now. I'm not saying we should not age. I just don't want to look like I've been on this earth 30 more years than I have been. And the reason that happens is because of the sun. Sometimes it's not anything having to do with your horrible life. Now, other thing goes into it. Your smoking, your drinking, your eating habits, your lifestyle, of course. But if I'm going to stop one thing and can help prevent one thing, I'm going to do what I got to do to prevent it. And if I'm not going to look 75 when I'm 45, and I have seen people look like that, and you feel like, damn. So I'm just, the PSA in this is that even if you're not worried about skin cancer, even if you're like, nah, I'm good, the melanin has got me, worry about how we may look also. Like, do you want to walk into a room and people think, that you're somebody's great great grandma when you're really somebody's mom? Like, that's how I am. I mean, I know it's vanity and okay, but I also want to look and feel great at the age, as I get older. And the sun has a huge, huge impact on what this is going to look like in a few years. So there's something out there to assist us in that. So let's use that. And it's called sunscreen. Research has shown that is the number one, like, oh, what, Botox and all these other things, and go get this and go get that. Listen, go get some sunscreen, because nothing else you do is going to really have the same impact and ability to stop that aging process if you're also not using sunscreen. So you can go get all the Botox you want, you can go get all the different treatments, you can go get all the serums, but they will tell you If you're not using sunscreen, then you're wasting your money, your time, and your energy because you're going to still look around at 60 and look like you're 90. And then you're going to be wondering, like, but I did everything I could. So, sunscreen, it's where it's at. It's your number one, the number one defense mechanism to the sun's collateral attacks on our bodies. It's just that easy. Now, if you need to find one that really works with your skin, if you have oily skin, combination, dry skin, or one that is going to give you a big impact, or one that's going to be good for your budget, because some of these sunscreens be like, who are y'all protecting? Queen of Wales? Because why is your sunscreen $70? Why? I mean, I got to wear this and reapply this, and you want 70? Another discussion, another live. Talking about last point in this is how much sunscreen you're supposed to be putting on. Now, I've seen a lot of videos and I see a lot of you know, people putting on sunscreen and they just put a little dip here. That's not going to be enough, people. It's not going to be enough. Technically, it's like a quarter teaspoon. So get that, make sure that you find a sunscreen that you really like because you're going to be putting on a lot. And if you are not, then you are, I'm glad that you're putting on something, but if you're not putting on enough, let's work our way up to putting on enough. Okay. All right. Hopefully, this has been informative. If it is content that you want to see and hear more about, please let me know in the comments. If there's something else you want me to talk about, please let me know in the comments. But for now, how about we all by tomorrow get some sunscreen in those carts? The same energy we put other stuff in the carts, let's put sunscreen as at the top so that when we look around, we can say, yes, I am protected from the vicious rays of the sun. All right. I am out of time, but hopefully this has been informative. Thank you so much for joining in. I will get to all your questions if I didn't get to it. And thank you again. Make sure you follow and subscribe.